Watch this closely. I'm going to take a password, exactly the kind you use every day, and in about 60 seconds, crack it wide open right here on screen. No special hardware, just a laptop. But first, here's exactly what you will learn today. What a password really is, how websites store it, and the fatal mistakes some make. Why even scrambled passwords still get cracked. You will watch me crack real ones live. And then, step by step, how to make yours practically impossible to break. One rule before we touch anything. Everything here runs on a lab we built ourselves, with passwords we created on purpose. We only ever test systems we own. Doing this to anyone else is a serious crime. Good. Let's begin. So what is a password really? It is simply a secret you share with a website to prove that you are you. You type it, the site checks it, and the door opens. Think of it as the only key to your house. And here's why attackers want it so badly. One password often unlocks your email. Your email then unlocks your bank, your photos, your whole digital life. To them, your password is money. In fact, yours may already be out there. There is a free website called I Been Pwned. You type in your email, and it shows you every known data breach it has appeared in. Watch. This one address turns up in 13 separate breaches. Billions of accounts are already leaked, sitting in lists that attackers trade freely. So when you create an account, where does your password actually go? It travels across the internet to the server and gets stored in a database. And how a site stores it is the difference between you being safe and you being exposed. Let me show you the wrong way, with real data. This is our lab's database, opened live. Watch what happens when I ask it to show me the users. Look at that. The passwords are sitting here in plain text, readable, exactly as they were typed. This is called storing passwords in plain text, and it is the single worst mistake a developer can make. Because the day an attacker steals this table, and they will, every password is instantly theirs. No cracking required. So here is the fix. Do not store the real password at all. Store a scrambled version that cannot be reversed. That scrambled version has a name you will hear constantly. A hash. Picture a blender. You drop in a word, you press go, and out comes a smooth, fixed pile of letters and numbers. That is a hash. The same word always gives the same result, but you can never unblend it back into the word. Let me make it real. Watch me hash a password in the terminal. I take the word, run it through an algorithm called SHA-256, and out comes this long string. The site stores only this, never your real password. And watch this. Change one single letter of the password, and the entire hash changes completely. Nothing in common with the one before. That tiny sensitivity is part of what makes a hash useful. So if good sites only store hashes, you would think cracking is impossible. So how did I promise to crack one in 60 seconds? Here is the catch. A hash is one way, yes, but nothing stops an attacker from guessing. They take a giant list of common passwords, millions of them, hash every single one, and compare. If any of their hashes matches yours, they have found your password. They never reversed anything, they simply outguessed you. How weak is a common password, really? There is a real tool that shows you, instantly. I type the password hunter2 into a password strength checker, and look at its answer. 1 second. It would take a computer 1 second to crack. Now compare a long passphrase. The same checker jumps to centuries. Enough theory. Let's do it for real, and I will call out every step. Step 1. Here are the stolen password hashes from our lab. To the human eye, completely meaningless. Step 2. The attacker grabs a word list, a plain text file of the most common and most leaked passwords, the kind shared freely online. This is their dictionary. Step 3. Point the cracking tool at the stolen hashes, hand it the word list, and press enter. Now watch the screen. One hash falls, then another, then another. The tool prints the real passwords in plain English right beside their hashes. 3 of the 4 fell in seconds. Only the admin's password survived because it was long and was not in the list. That, right there, is a password being cracked. So why did those fall so fast? 2 reasons. The passwords were weak and common, already in the attacker's list. And every identical password made an identical hash, so cracking one instantly cracked everyone who shared it. Now let's fix both. The first defense is called a salt. Before hashing, you add a small piece of random text unique to every user onto their password. Now 2 people with the same password get completely different hashes. Watch it in the terminal. The same password, Spring 2024, but with 2 different salts, produces 2 totally different hashes. The attacker can no longer pre-compute anything and can no longer crack everyone at once. They are forced to attack each one alone. The second defense attacks their speed. SHA-256 is fast, and fast is bad here because an attacker can try billions of guesses a second. So we deliberately use a slow algorithm instead, called bcrypt. Here is a bcrypt hash. It is salted, and it is deliberately expensive, taking a tiny fraction of a second per guess. You will never feel it when you log in. But for an attacker trying billions of guesses, slow turns minutes into centuries. Now the most important part, the part entirely in your hands. First, make your passwords long. Length beats everything. A short, complex password falls fast, but a long passphrase, 4 or 5 random words strung together, would take centuries to guess. Second, never reuse a password. One leaked password should never unlock the rest of your life. Every account gets its own. Third, you cannot remember dozens of long passwords, so do not try. Use a password manager to create and store them, and turn on two-factor authentication, your 2FA, everywhere you can. That one extra step blocks an attacker even if they do steal your password. Now let's prove it works back in our lab. I replaced the careless plaintext storage. From now on, every password is salted and hashed with flow bcrypt. I save a new account using a long passphrase. Then I steal the database again and point the exact same cracking tool at this new hash. Watch the clock this time. It runs, and it runs, and it finds nothing. The same attack that shredded the weak passwords a minute ago just hit a wall. And here is something worth knowing. What you just watched is a real job. Companies pay people to test their passwords before the criminals do, and to build the salting and slow hashing that keeps millions of accounts safe. The attacker who cracks it and the defender who stops it are two sides of the same skill. Let's lock it in. 5 things to remember. 1. Good sites store a hash, never your real password. 2. Hashes still fall to a dictionary attack. The attacker just outguesses common passwords. 3. Assault makes every hash unique. 4. Slow hashing, bcrypt, turns their minutes into centuries. And 5. The one that is on you. Long unique passphrases, a password manager, and two-factor authentication. Do those, and you simply will not be cracked. This is Cyber Shield. Make yours unbreakable, and I will see you in the next one.